Hello, everybody. Once again, we're back to another ramble drawing. Ramble? What did I start calling this series now? It's like rambles, drambles, drambles, drambles. We're calling them drambles now. It's gonna be called drambles now. Um, I. If anyone's new to this channel, they probably don't know about this obvious secret. If you call it an obvious secret. Um, I am a huge Sonic fan. I've had my moments of kind of dropping out of the fandom once in a while. It's one of those things where, to be fair, when I say into the fandom, how do I describe this? Because, like, I don't like really going into fandoms. I just kind of observe fandoms and just go, ha! Like, I don't really get into, like, any fandom projects or anything like that. Don't mind me. I'm cleaning my room while I'm talking. So, um, as I always put it when it comes to fandoms, I let the crazy come to me. And if you've been in the Sonic fandom long enough, you know exactly what I mean by that. I mean, this applies to any fandom, but I am old as this franchise, so you could probably look that up and you can figure out how old I am just by saying that alone. So, I really like the Sonic movies. They are really neat and a fresh coat of alternate universe for Sonic, which I actually like. I know that a lot of comic book people don't really like alternate universes, which is understandable because, like, when it comes to, it's like comic books are the best example of the worst possible uh, soft reboots I've ever seen in any medium. So I understand that, like, because they never really reboot anything. They just these awkward soft reboots, like things are canon but also not canon. So it's very frustrating to follow up on anything and they wonder why they can't sell anything. So back on the movie, I really like um, where this franchise is going with the movies because it's really hard to start a Sonic universe with an origin background. Um, because they usually kind of start like maybe in the middle, maybe references a few things that happened in the games, kind of connecting them into whatever universe they're kind of putting it in. Uh, I think the only thing, like the very few universes I could think of is this, and maybe Archie. Was there another universe that kind of started from the very beginning of Sonic? I don't think so. Um, Even the games don't really have like an origin for Sonic if you think about it. I mean, they kind of like hinted at it a few like articles and not articles, game guides and stuff like that, but they never really go into deep about it. And to be fair, not every character has to do that, but it's always. But if you're gonna make alternate universes of Sonic, you might as well have one or two where they go try to dabble into that kind of thing. Man, I'm really all over the place this time. Um, so when it comes to the movie, I really like a lot of the characters in it. Uh, and I'm actually surprised of how much I'm actually liking the human characters. Um, which we always had like if you've ever watched Sonic X, that's probably the biggest one that had human characters, which is really funny because like I know that there were some people that were complaining about like, oh really, we're gonna have human characters in the Sonic, and I'm sitting here going like, bruh, is Eggman a joke to you? Well, he is a joke, but not like that. But and then of course you have Gerald and Maria. Like, guys, there's always been humans here. What are you doing? Um, but though it is kind of interesting that they kind of went like with the Sonic X route, which is like the two worlds thing. I really like Tom and Maddie, especially if you like. Um, I was thinking of like the Archie comics. Like those are the only like Sonic universe where Sonic has like actual parents. In fact, in that one they're like biological parents too. Um but then I was actually surprised they went on this like, this him having like adoptive parents route, which is super cute by the way. Um because and I like how they like didn't directly just have him immediately accept him as his dad. It was like more of a slow process. Um, which I was like, yeah, that would make sense if Sonic was adopted by literally anybody, to be honest. It would be like a hard change to accept at first. So it's kind of funny because Tom actually does remind me of Jules a lot. Like he's like Jules without the without the soldier trauma, and of course turning into a robot. But yeah, he does have a lot of Jewel vibes, I which I really like um about his character with raising Sonic. And I am really curious of how they're gonna go about, because after the second movie, they make it that like Tails and Knuckles are kind of like adopted brothers in a sense, which that is also super cool and cute and adorable. And I'm very curious of where they're going with that. I mean, Tails, I know for sure they were just gonna just put him in the house. Knuckles, I'm not exactly sure if he's gonna be like staying with them. I could see him kind of going off and doing his own thing at some point, really early. Uh, but oh wow, I found a thing on my floor that should have been put away a long time ago. Whoopsie, I got a dust there. Um, but yeah, I'm super excited for the third movie coming out. In fact, I'm gonna make this video just so I could say that I called it. Because I was talking to a couple of people about it where the movie's been out enough, everybody should already know the spoiler by now. That they hint that Shadow the Hedgehog's gonna be in the third movie, right? And so that's gonna be pretty cool. But there, whoops, there was talk about a Metal Sonic showing up, and we all know who that is. Metal Sonic might be showing up in the movie, which personally I think that's too soon. But then again, they might not be like. I don't see them ending at movie 3. I mean, especially with all like the spin-off thing going off and everything. Like, no, they're definitely gonna ride this as much as they possibly can. This is probably the perfect franchise for it. But but I am curious on how far they're gonna, if they're going to have Metal Sonic in the movie, or they're gonna hint him for like movie 4, which that would be really good, because if I were in the writer's room, I would have it that it's just focusing on Shadow, maybe put in Rouge, then the fourth movie would be about Metal Sonic. That way it would be a perfect introduction to also Amy, considering Amy and Metal Sonic showed up. Their first appearances were in the same game. I think it was called Sonic CD. Yeah, pretty sure it was Sonic CD. More rappers. No, not rappers. A bunch of receipts that I need to throw away. But yeah, so I'm super excited for the next movie, and those are my predictions on what's going to happen. Now, when it comes to the actual, like, what's going to happen in the third movie, look, I can't, like, it's one of those things, I want them to do it, but, you know, it's like, I understand if they can't, but I really wish they do, is to have Live and Learn play in the climax of the movie. Now, I understand people putting in petitions to get the song in, and that'd be great, but who knows? I mean, I could see them doing it. I don't, like, it's one of those things. I know that they kind of want to put their own music in, so it kind of separates from all the other Sonic stuff. Like, it's trying to be its own thing while at the same time being Sonic. But even if it's just the instrumental version of Live and Learn in the final fight scene, you'll make this grown woman cry. You'll do it. I'll do it. I swear to God, I will. But yeah, that's another possible prediction. Hopefully, maybe, crossing fingers, that we will get that happening. No, it feels like I always make these videos talking about a topic that I haven't watched in a while, and I feel like I should have watched the movie before making this video. Um, but um, but then again, I keep going back and forth if I want to talk about the second movie or the first movie. Ooh, speaking of which, if I had to say which one I liked more, because I like them both. Like, they're definitely good for two completely different reasons. But if you had, like, if I had no choice, you had to make me choose one, I would say the first one is technically better, only because I feel like it's more structured. Not that I don't really think the second movie's all over the place, um, but I don't know. I feel like the first movie felt more solid. I could see myself watching the first movie a lot more than the second movie, and I don't know why. Maybe I should watch. Then again, I have seen the first movie twice, and I've only seen the second movie once. So maybe if I saw it the second time, I would change my mind on that, because my memories of the first movie are stronger than the memories of the second movie, which I should watch again. But yeah. Oh, this was something I really wanted to touch upon, is the fact that since they're doing the Shadow of the Hedgehog in the third movie, right? And it is very interesting only because of the fact that because usually when a different Sonic universes like Sonic X or uh, like you have the games, and then like you have like basically anything that has the Sonic universe and all that, right? Whether they told Shadow's story within um, the universe, or they imply that like basically everything that happened in the game also happened, so we don't have to replay Shadow's origin. We all know what it is, right? And I feel like it's like I'm very curious of what the movie's gonna do, because obviously they're gonna do their own thing, right? And I think this is uh, the first time someone's gonna take that story and change it up. And like I said, the only other series I've ever seen them do that is Sonic X, which I personally think was kind of disappointing. I mean, there are some good aspects in Sonic X, like actually interviewing the guy who shot Maria. That was a pretty good aspect. In fact, I kind of surprisingly, I mean, I didn't like it as much as a kid, but I appreciate it more as an adult. With the whole the uh, the news reporter lady trying to get information about the whole like the 50 years ago Ark incident, and trying to get it through that information, and the dangers of trying to get that information. Um, so like that's pretty good, and then everything else kind of like it feels like snippets of the original story. Like they were trying their best to try to speed up the process a little too much, that it kind of stumbled and fell when it came to certain scenes that were supposed to happen. And I feel like they were just kind of trying to get it out of the way to establish Shadow as a character in this universe. Which is kind of funny because there's like another like reason why Sonic and Shadow are such polar opposites. Like, I mean, they have a lot of polar opposite personalities and traits and stuff like that. But another big factor is the fact that Sonic could almost pop up at any moment and any time, and you could just kind of make up something that was his origin. And then you have Shadow, which is like, it's like people are terrified deviating just slightly off of like where he came from, of his existence. Like they're just all like just assume that everything in Sonic 2 happened. Like I'm not touching that. I don't want to touch it. It's I can't do anything with this. Um, at least that's how I assume. And like I think the only other Sonic universe that had Shadow in it and didn't do anything with him was like Sonic Boom, which that was like I thought that was like, oh, like this is a completely different universe. They're gonna have a completely different origin story for him, right? And they're just like, no, he's just there. I'm just like, oh, this is the opposite problem of this issue, isn't it? Oh no. Like, and I mean, it was kind of funny, but at the same time, it was also kind of frustrating. So like, well, I liked the whole like, oh, he's so cool humor, like, and like why, and like I don't know, like, it, like I heard somewhere that the writers were forced to put him into the series, which if that is true, no wonder why they kept making those jokes, because like that just make too much sense in that case. And I don't know who to be more mad at. The right like like I said, if they were forced to put him in Sonic Boom, even though they had no plans for him, like zero Bupkis plans for him in that series, and they were just like forced to put him in there, then I'm only slightly less angry. I'm only slightly though. Now we're up to the comment section of the video. So last video we had Neek. Well, we have two from Neek. First one is, oh yeah, Bo, when you're talking about Rook, you meant he's from Snow White, right? I did look back on that video and I said Sleeping Beauty, didn't I? Oh. I You know what it is? Even as a kid, I always got those mixed up by accident because because both of those stories, the princess falls into like a coma. So like I always like would mix the two, like flip around the two once in a while. I was like, oh yeah, it's like Sleeping Beauty. No wait, Sleeping Beauty's the blonde one. Like I was like, God dang it. Those were always the two that I always got the names mixed up because I keep thinking of like, ah yes, Princess in Coma. Like for completely different circumstances. And then we have another one from Neek. Oh, Bo has returned. Also, Obey Me, woo! Yes, Obey Me, woo! I still need to get back on that game. I've been distracted with Sonic the Forces? Sonic Forces app because that's like the easiest out of all the app games that I have that I could just flip, do like 3 minutes of something and then come out. The other app games I really want to get back into. I'm just like, hopefully this week I'll have extra time for that. There's a lot of this week in particular I'll have extra time for. And then we got Emanations or Emily, because I can't pronounce that name. I can't pronounce the username, but I know the Emily. Uh, let's go! Yes, there's a lot of hooping and hollering because it's been a very long time between that video and the one before that. So hopefully I won't have that many gaps anymore. Also, if anybody's also curious, I'm also getting back into the comic too. Um, I was gonna start this month, but I'm still a few pages behind on that, so I want to be sure I have a bigger backlog than I had last time for that one. I feel like I'm almost up to a good number of backlogging to make it work. Um, it's just once I hit a particular month, I was like, college. So, thank you for everybody commenting, and I hope to see you in the next video. And like I said, hopefully I'll be back to making this a regular thing. Crossing fingers, guys. Anyway, good morning and good night.